Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's live at the Waterhole show. My name is Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours. I can guarantee we are going to see zebras because we've got plenty here at Mo'ala in Botswana. I think there's a high chance we're going to get to see some elephants as well. It's the 24th of July. It's 12:31 now here in sunny South Africa. And we will be live for the next 2 hours. Live and most importantly, completely interactive. We love hearing from everyone out there, where you are joining us from. It doesn't matter if it's your first time here, you are most welcome to send your questions through to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code currently on your screens. We do have lots of regular viewers, but if it is your first time here, you are most welcome to join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth, or again, scan the QR code. It is my personal favourite part of the show, everyone getting involved in what's happening. You are welcome to send your questions and comments through via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. I, along with everyone in our control centre, are very much looking forward to hearing from everyone. We will get through as many questions and comments as we can. I always say to guests, there is no such thing as a stupid question. If you are genuinely interested in something and you want to know something, you are welcome to send it through. I will not make up things. I see this couple of hours as an opportunity for me to learn. We can all learn things together. Often other people's thought processes are incredibly insightful and brings up some fascinating topics of conversation. So please, everyone, hop in and get involved. Deb D, good morning. Hi, you are joining us from Pennsylvania in the US. Thank you very much for joining, Deb D. Joanne Mello, I'm happy to be here, Joanne Mello, and I am happy that you have joined us. So please all remember, this is not an exclusive thing. I want to hear from everybody out there. Look at the zebra at the front of this here, just above the blue line, drinking out that muddy bit. Blech. I think if anyone heard that fish eagle, I think that was actually from here, as opposed to on the cameras. I am joining you from outside again today. I can't work out if that's here or on the cameras. Either way, it was a fish eagle. Look at these little guys. Beautiful demonstrations here of how confusing lots of zebra in one place can be, and I'm sure for this little zebra foal as well. Keep a close eye on Mum. Mr. Elemental, good day to you too in a freezing Perth, Western Australia. And my notes here say hand pink waving. I'm sure that's a picture of a waving hand as opposed to your message. We are still enjoying delightful temperatures here in the Lowfell. Nice. I think we're about 24 degrees today. Beautiful. Look at this little guy having a drink. So often we see mammals drinking from mum, those teats between those back legs, or indeed nipples along the belly. And then it's always quite confusing. We see these elephants suckling from between those front legs, those mammary glands of elephants. One of the few mammals with mammary glands at the front there. Hello Rachel, thank you for joining us. We are getting some excellent views of large numbers of zebra here. There's actually a couple of cameras that are giving us great images of this zebra movement. I believe this is a dry riverbed, Rachel. Anyone is welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is possibly part of the Boteti River. Many of these dry riverbeds often hold some residual puddles or water, and even when these puddles have gone, we often see animals using these dry riverbeds to get to groundwater. I think we were talking yesterday about how if you look from above, you can see the greenery lining around these lines where the either drainage lines or dry riverbeds, whatever you want to call them. I think yesterday someone asked why elephants feed around those areas, and it's because that's where most of the moisture is. It's fascinating, even if you're up on a crest or something. If you're trying to work out where a drainage line is, just sort of look at the vegetation. It'll often give you a good indication of where that groundwater is lying. P. Bari, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for participating. Good afternoon. It is indeed wonderful to see all these zebra up in Botswana. And thank you very much for joining us from the comfort of your TV there in Pretoria. Your participation is appreciated. It really is such a joy to be able to get so many people from so many different places around the world involved in these stunning cameras. And it really does, I know from personal experience, it really does ignite a passion in so many people. And it's lovely to hear when people have maybe started immersing themselves in nature, in the African bush from afar, and then they actually make it here in person. I've had many guests over the years, and that has been their path. Incredible to hear when these people have had these dreams and hopes of visiting Africa. Brought to them initially through their TVs or even their experiences at zoos. Zoos is a interesting topic. Maybe we should make it a topic of conversation today. I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts on zoos. I believe that bad zoos should not exist. Not cool, not okay in any way, shape or form. There are people that say that they shouldn't exist full stop, but I know there are many people out there from when they're children. They've visited a zoo and they've seen the wonders of wildlife and animals. And I'm sure early years zoo visits have prompted many conservationists of the future. I appreciate not everyone, or few people, are lucky enough to experience this on a regular basis in person. I count myself as very fortunate that I am one of those people. But it wasn't always that way. Anyone that I was born in England. I'm not sure if my old dad is listening, unlikely. But from a young child, I would go to Chessington Zoo, as it was then called. And I was always fascinated with the animals there. So maybe I have ended up where I have ended up due to early visits to Chessington Zoo with my dad. Oh, there's a little bit of discussion here at the water with these zebra. I would love actually to see this river in flow. There really are some very impressive sights across Africa, and it's a huge reminder. It wasn't until I moved here I realised just how, everyone knows, you know, everything needs water to survive, but just how vital those rains are, and what happens if they are late or if they don't come. And yeah, I've watched a couple of rivers come down in the rainy season. You get rain, and it's surprising. The rivers don't always come down sort of when it's raining where you are. Often it's rain from a different location, a catchment area. And I've watched a few times where a dry riverbed has bubbled up into life. Oh, actually, let me just check. I'm sure this is a part of the Teti River, but let me double check it. I don't want to give you the wrong information.
Hi everybody, looks like we have just located on a beautiful leopardess known as Lalamba. Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because I've... best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, you know, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Let's go over to El Doño. I think we might have some more zebras there. We've been seeing big numbers of zebra up in El Doño as well, so let's see who we've got that side. Yeah, seeing rivers come down in the rainy season, there's something very I don't know, it's a weird feeling actually, seeing the power of that water come down. And it doesn't, you know, sometimes it does, but the rivers I've seen, it, you know, it doesn't come down. It wouldn't have knocked you off your feet to start with. But the way that water bubbles through a dry riverbed and it carries stuff with it, and it's almost I don't know, I can't actually think of the word, what it feels like to me, actually. Humbling, maybe a humbling experience, that nature is producing this flow, there's nothing we could do to start it or stop it, completely powerless over the flow of that water. It's a very humbling experience. I think that is the right word. It doesn't look like there's any elephants here. Well, unless there's someone on the side that I can't see. This will have been the first time I've seen El Doño water in Kenya without elephants for a while. I feel like there's always a couple of boys here at the moment. But those zebras are enjoying a drink in peace. Oh, they're pretty, hey? Not pretty. They're aesthetically beautiful, aesthetically pleasing. And look how different those stripe patterns are on their neck. You see the one has got a big, thick line coming down from one of those mane tufts. When they stand so close together, it's actually easy to see how individual each of those stripe patterns are. Giraffe can... Oh! You don't see that very often. That wasn't very nice. Oh, let's see if this giraffe's going to have a nice peaceful drink before he gets interrupted by someone. I always go quiet when giraffes drink. Flick, flick. You enjoy your drink, Mr. Giraffe, I believe. Okay, let's get some thoughts about zoos. Mercedes Bean. You believe zoos aren't like they were 100 years ago or more. Most do great work in conservation and education. I agree. I think, I've said it before, I don't always think that I both coming from a dog training aspect, it's not always that people are bad. Sometimes it's just they don't know any better, and I believe that might be the case for zoos. We know better, so we do better. So I think certainly over the last 100 years it has been there have been improvements in many zoos around the world, and many do indeed do very important work around conservation and education. Joanne Mello, zoos are essential, especially if owned at an early age by humans. I agree. Catherine, you don't go to zoos anymore after seeing animals in the wild, but you think they have a purpose in getting people interested in animals and the more aware that they need protection. I agree. I also don't normally frequent zoos like I might otherwise, but I definitely agree they've got a place. I've actually got a friend who I used to go to school with coming. She's not coming to see me. She's decided to. It's time for her family to do a trip on safari. Been to many zoos. Would they be coming if they hadn't been visiting zoos and seeing many of these animals in captivity? Who knows? Mercedes, yes, it should also be remembered that many zoos also work together for the benefit of animals. I do think times are changing, fortunately. Did people keep, a tiger in a tiny cage before because they were evil people, or they didn't realise or understand that tigers deserve better. It's a tough one, but no, I do definitely think times are a-changing, which is great news. These are East African oryx, or fringe-eared oryx, which are different types of oryx from the Southern African oryx. The Southern African oryx, also known as gemsbok. This is why we do homework. There's also 2 other species of oryx, Arabian oryx and a sickle-horned oryx. This is why we learn. Those horns, they're just amazing, aren't they? Imagine if oh, here we go. Off we go, oryx. Time to go. Deb D, you're saying zoos are essential for educating both children and adults. Their animal observations create a desire to become lifelong naturalists, observers, financial donators, educators, veterinarians and more. 100% Deb D. And again, I think those opinions are changing. 20 years ago, or 15, 20 years ago, I think if I'd asked that question, people might have gone, oh no, zoos are terrible, can't stand them, oh no, zoos shouldn't exist. I think that probably would have been the results that came back. But now they're doing better, we're understanding better, and ultimately it's just better for conservation and the environment. I definitely think times are rapidly changing. I was actually doing some reading about this area of El Doño today as well. I didn't realise how close to Mount Kilimanjaro this area is. It's pretty close, and it's in quite a hilly region, which could also possibly go to some way to explaining why we don't often see breeding hares up here. Little elephants don't climb nicely. They need good access to resources as much as possible, or certainly mums do, to be able to feed them. These big boys are a bit more resilient. They can tolerate slightly harsher conditions. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I've just been reliably informed that you can see Mount Kilimanjaro on this camera on a clear day. That's even closer than I thought. But yeah, I was actually checking on a map, and it's very close in some terms. But yeah, not the easiest of regions to live in up here at El Doño. But this old boy is doing brilliantly. I think let's go across to Shalati. That was, I've seen this camera quite a few times, but I do know there were a few people saying yesterday that it was fairly new to them. I had some great sightings on that Shalati camera. Let's see who we've got there today. Some good water. Ah, hi. A nice little... what would I call this? I wouldn't call this a herd, to be honest. Small gathering of a rather large male buffalo by the looks of it. Otherwise sometimes known as Dugger boys. I believe coming from Dugger is a term for mud. These boys often covered in mud. So what would I call this little group of suggestions on a postcard? Everyone, please send your thoughts through. I know a group of buffalo is normally called a herd. This might be called a bachelor herd or something, but let's all try and think of a term for a group of grumpy old buffalo. Well, that's unfair. Sorry, boys, they might not be grumpy at all. But send your thoughts through for what we could call this group of grumpy buffalo to wildearth.tv/questions. They might not be grumpy, but for the sake of this question, let's pretend these are grumpy old men. What would I call that? A sulk. It's not really a sulk, is it? That's what children do. A moan of buffalo? A moan of Duggar boys? I'm sure you're not grumpy at all, Mr. Buffalo. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Mr. Elemental, your zoo puts a lot of effort into keeping the animals happy and mentally active. Brilliant. Yeah, I think it's so important. I'll mention it again. Thank you for giving me a lead in there. Mr. Elemental, you're in Australia. I've been to Australia Zoo, nowhere near Perth, I don't think, but brilliantly done. Massive Steve Irwin fan. I cried extensively when he passed away. Your zoo does really good work making sure that animals are happy and enriched there, and that's exactly what I'm doing next month, is going to Johannesburg Zoo to have a look at some of the STEM stuff, which is quite new for me, but very exciting. John, bachelor pool party on this island. Hi John, thank you very much for joining the show. A bachelor pool party. They might be bachelors. I think they might be. What do you call older bachelors? When you say bachelor to me, I think of sort of like, sort of young. Or maybe I'm showing my age. Maybe I should stop talking. A group of grumpy old men hanging out. I think we should think of names for them. But John, thank you very much. Bachelor pool party on the island. I get very different images when someone says a bachelor pool party to me. Diane, you think zoos have an important part to play: education, conservation and rewilding, as long as they provide a reasonable sized space and try and replicate how they would live naturally. Diane, I 100% agree. It's so interesting that while zoos are, I also believe, changing their understanding and their methods and their strategies, I also think people's opinions of zoos are changing. So education and understanding creates change in conservation. That's a mouthful, but it's a fact, I think. Mr. Elemental, a grump of bulls. I think that's pretty good. That's sort of the theory I was going for. This is a grump. A grump of buffalo bulls. Raj, you're saying retired old chaps. Rocks. Maybe we should say a rock. A retired old chaps. A rock of buffaloes. Retired old chaps. So people often say these bulls have lost breeding capability. Not really. These boys are still very capable, but what has happened is normally they have broken away from the breeding herds for whatever reason. That one on the right certainly looks like he has no interest in being bothered by either cows or calves. He is flat on the sand. It could be that there are more prime bulls in the herd. There will sometimes be discussions between bulls in big groups of buffalo, but big groups of buffalo or big herds of buffalo, they have more than, it's not like a lot of hierarchical systems. There will be more than one male in that group. These buffalo do not want to currently be in that situation, but it's not, sometimes I think I might actually want to be that buffalo. That is heaven, right? Who wants to be squashed by mooing and all the rest of it when you can just lie half in, half out the water with a bird on your face? Fast asleep. Well, fast asleep. Maybe it's not fast asleep, but certainly having a good chill. I think that was probably an oxpecker on his face. Often those oxpeckers are found around buffalo, getting those ticks and parasites off of them. Penelope Kenyon, you're saying a bull caucus meeting. There are many different terms we could use for this group of buffalo males sitting resting here on the sand. This is very peaceful. Oh, raw, that's a good one. How about a frown of buffaloes? That's I like that one a lot. That's very descriptive. A frown of buffaloes. Many, many years ago, someone once said to me, buffalo look at you like you owe them money. Definitely a frown of buffaloes. Mr. Wright in Guiani, the Buffalo Grumble Troop. That's brilliant. The Buffalo Grumble Troop. EJ, I like that as well. A gripe of Duggar boys. A gripe. A gripe. I do quite like that. Buffalo Grumble Troop. Buffalo Grumble Troop in the house. They're going to be doing nothing. Really slowly. See, this is a formidable a situation. This is a formidable. Oh, that's not easy to say. A formidable Buffalo Grumble Troop. You've got to be a very, very brave or very, very hungry predator to take a run at these guys. They are pretty peaceful. They are strong. They are powerful, and they will not go down without a fight. See, now this is a perfect demonstration again of why we are cautious of walking in riverbeds, or indeed reeds. What is that? That looks like rock with lots of bird poop on. Maybe a cormorant or cormorant heron, someone's been sitting in that rock, plenty. But this is a lovely demonstration of why we are cautious walking through riverbeds and riverbeds and reeds. Brilliant. Let's head back over to Moella, but this is a fabulous camo, this Kruger Shalati sunrise. I think we should spend plenty of time here. I tell you what I'd like to do, if we come back just before the end of the show, I'd love to see if anything's happened here with our gripe of Duggar boys. Sandy Franklin 69. Hi Sandy, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for popping in. Good morning to you too. You're saying good morning from Tennessee. Thank you for your participation, Sandy. You are always very welcome, and welcome to Moella Lodge in Botswana, where we still have a very cutesy little zebra. Okay, that was indeed on the camera. I couldn't work out if it was here or on the camera earlier, but that was definitely on the camera. I've got a very good friend whose wonderful parents, I've got a very good friend who's been on drive with me many times, and the last time I drove her was with her fabulous parents, and her dad always did like a good question, and I think the question of the trip was, how many times does a zebra wag its tail in a day? I said, I've got absolutely no idea. Lots. And then I went, it's not just when I'm here, I do it all the time. I said, well, it depends. What's it doing? What time of year is it? Has it stopped for a poop? How much has it been eating? That's dictating how often it stops for a poop. And all the other what if questions. I think I actually said sit and count it for 5 minutes, and I think he did, but I do not know what the result was. I can't remember. Jean, good afternoon, Jean. Thank you very much for participating. It's lovely. Everyone's getting so involved today. Thank you very much. Please do keep your thoughts and questions coming. Jean, you're asking, you would like to know if any staff members get hurt by the animal by accident, do you have a medical team standing by? Jean, that depends on where you are. As a rule, no. Honestly, many lodges do have contracts with rapid response, like medical emergency response teams. Guides, as a matter of course, have to be, we have to renew our first aid qualification every 3 years. We're not allowed to guide unless we are qualified in first aid. Some of us do further wilderness first aid, different levels of first aid qualifications. So all guides need to be first aid qualified to guide. Emergency response, and it depends on where you are. As a rule, because there's wild animals there, it's normally not in a town near a hospital. So the chances of a vehicle ever getting to any lodge quicker than 30 minutes is highly, highly unlikely. And depending on where you are in Africa, it can sometimes be days. There are emergency response helicopters for, obviously, helicopter requirement emergencies, but often on the only ones on site or medical team standing by is normally us guides. But especially a lot of the lodges there's like they have contracts with Medivac quite often in reserves. If you've got a reserve with 15 lodges, there's often there'll often be a sort of almost paramedic level qualified person and vehicle that will stay at one of the lodges. I know that is often the case with several of certainly the game reserves in this area. Where the nearest rapid response unit is for, say, Moela Lodge in Botswana, I've got absolutely no idea. But medical professionals on site, no. First aid qualified guides, certainly in South Africa, yes. You would hope in any safari destination. But Jean, I'll tell you something I have discovered during my years of guiding. The most common injury that I've seen since I've been in the bush is people falling over. By a long way. And the second most common injury I've seen is people falling off or on or in game drive vehicles, slipping off those steps at the side. So like 50 times more than any dangerous game injuries I've seen. It is fortunately, in my opinion, surprisingly infrequent, because animals are amazing and very often give us the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, most common injury, Jean, is people falling over. This is actually quite an interesting, almost looks like a trough setup they've got here. Obviously, I'm assuming it's a pipe coming in. The way they're drinking from that.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
I feel like numbers might be decreasing here a little bit. I know from one angle on this camera there was we think it might have been a mineral point or a something point, and there was like a swarm of zebra around it. So these zebra are often found around this area where the dry season, roughly May to sort of October-ish. I believe this is one of the only water resources in this area. This time of year, so when the rains start, maybe October, November, they will head east more towards the Makadi salt pans. I would love to go up and see that in this area, but I feel like these numbers might have dropped a little bit, or maybe it's just a different camera angle. Often, movement of animals is almost always dictated, well, unless humans get in the way, almost always dictated by resources: water, food, mates. Normally in that order, actually. Tom. Hi Tom, welcome. Thank you so much for getting involved in the show. I'm very happy that you love the show. And I'm even happier that you are a friend of nature. Me too. Thank you for joining us and thank you for getting involved. I like to think that we are all friends of nature on this show. And then even if you do not consider yourself to be a friend of nature, stay around a while and maybe your thoughts will change. Mr. Wright Gianni, you're not a fan of huge animals in zoos because they don't provide sufficient space for them to roam and exercise, which is important for their health. I agree, Mr. Wright Gianni. Zoos done badly are horrific, and many are still done badly, whether that's human lack of education or human lack of funding or human lack of care or human greed is not really for me to say, but I agree, zoos done badly are absolutely abhorrent. Karen, good question. Not much. You're asking, what does a zebra eat as it's so very dry at the waterhole? There might be a little bit more vegetation out of... I mean, this is desperately dry. There is nothing here because of all the footfall. Out of camera view, there may be a little more herbivorous material that managing to scrape a living out of. I think they probably hang around here. Well, they do, because we see them. They hang around here a lot of the time, so there's not much here. But I'm sure they do move. I'm sure if we put like a couple of stickers on some of these zebra and followed them, I think they probably will move away from the water to try and spend some time feeding on whatever there is back there out of view of the cameras, I think, Karen. But it fascinates me every year. All of these animals, they eke a living out of what appears to us to be pretty much nothing. But that's how clever nature is, hey? I always find fruit-eating birds that survive the winters fascinating. Where's all the fruit? But they're obviously eking out a living from something. And that is as well why many animals migrate. Lots of birds are migratory. I'm just trying to think how many fruit eaters there are that migrate though.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
I'm just trying to think who else digs holes and who would have dug that and why. Here we go. Vast numbers of hippos. Hippos don't come out of the water during the day, apparently. Incorrect. Yeah, I was just trying to think, where was I? I think I was in possibly a river in Malawi. Is it Malawi? Yeah, I think it was a river somewhere in Malawi. On a boat doing some conservation stuff, and the number of crocodiles and hippos along this river was insane. We were on this boat, sort of, I don't know, doing 30, 40 kilometres an hour or whatever it was, and there must have been, I'm just trying to think if it was hippos as well, crocodiles sort of every 3 metres for 20 minutes. I've never seen such a high density of crocodiles. I think there was hippos there as well, but don't quote me on it. I'm trying to think what or why would have dug that hole. That hippo, just stuck its nose down there just to make a nice little flat bit. Hippo version of a dog walking around in circles before it lies down. Dark mane lover, yes, they do. They look like big grey boulders, and lots of them. Look at this little guy. Dark mane lover, I often play. There's 2 games I regularly play here. One is rock or hippo, and the other one is stick or snake. Oh, careful! Does that little one belong to the hippo on the right, do we think? It looks like that hippo might have just not been over keen on that small one present. There's a few young ones there, hey? I finally started trusting myself to say out loud publicly that hippos can be born as small as 22 kilograms, often no more than 60 kilograms, which is insane when you consider the weights of these fully grown hippos. Ooh! I wonder if one of these little ones belongs to that hippo that chased the other one away. No, I think that... See, this is what happens when things are in high density areas. I don't know what that was for, unless that was... What's happening here? Who does this little one belong to? Check that mouthing. That's often a sign of, I'm only little, don't hurt me. Baby horses do it, baby dogs sometimes do it. I don't know if baby cats do it, probably. See that? Look, did you see that other hippo laying down? Sort of moved her head away from that young one. Unless it belongs to this one that just chased the other one. Oh, no, okay, maybe we're going to snuggle. Okay, I think that one must belong to that adult. Ah, yeah, I think that one belongs there. I wonder what that chase was about, though. The chase was that tail that we can see now. That's the one that chased the other one. Maybe it was a bull causing a problem, or a younger bull being a nuisance and being inappropriate. I'm not sure. Sandy Franklin 69, definitely the most hippos you've ever seen. It is a crazy high density. And I still find it a bit weird that they just sort of, I mean, a lot of them are laying down, but we've been here before and they've just been like standing there. It just confuses me a bit, but I think, what are we doing? Man, that's cute, hey? That little one. Almost looks like a little... Oh, I don't know, that nose... It shows your nose, it almost looks like a little piggy or something. See, now why has this hippo stood up? That's what I want to know. And where's that little one gone? I'm convinced enough that that small one belongs to that hippo that sort of stood side onto us. You just see that little nose. What he's doing in the sand there, I can't imagine. Unless it's that young one eating poop. I think that young one might be eating dung there. Which I'm not super surprised about, because dung, processed grass basically. Hippos have a slightly unusual stomach structure. They're not quite ruminants, they're not quite high in gut fermenters, but they don't, their digestive system isn't fantastic. So there would be some nutrients in rhino dung. There'd be some nutrients left in there. Ooh. Oh yes, let's go and see dancing crocodiles at Tau. I'm super interested in that. Let's go across to Tau. We've had some very interesting behaviour from the crocodiles at Tau recently. I might come back here and have another look at this group of hippos soon, but I'm almost convinced that these crocodiles, this is courtship and potential mating. I actually looked up and checked what crocodile mating behaviour or courtship behaviour looks like, and it basically looks like this. There's rubbing of chins on heads and slow movements of things, and there is a tail twist at the end from male crocodiles. So I would love to watch this and see if there is indeed any tail twists at the end of anything. It's also the right time of year for crocodiles to be mating. Oh no! We had a frozen camera there at Tau. But we're definitely keeping an eye on that. I'm almost convinced it's the courting couple. But in the meantime, lovely views of these rhino at mantis founders. I'm just going to turn my volume up quickly. Is that little rhino making that sound? Oh yes, please. I would love to go and check out those crocodiles just once more. My research suggested that there was sort of lots of head rubbing, slow sort of rubbing movements with heads on backs and things. And then those towel crocodiles, what we're looking for at the end is sort of almost a turn of the tail. Is there still two there? Yes. And if I remember correctly, I think the last time we were watching, we thought the darker one was a male and the lighter one was a female. I have had full confirmation that we have had eggs at Tau before. The wonderful zoomies that were on at the time zoomed into a bush, and I hadn't been checking my updates, and I think I said, well, why are we looking at this bush? But that is where eggs were laid before, at Tau. I did actually contact a friend of mine who is still based at Tau. I said, have you seen your crocodiles waiting? And they said no. I said, have you been watching? They said, not really, no. And this is the amazing opportunity that these cameras give us, is we can watch things evolve long term. So is he gonna go, are we done? Okay, maybe. But this is, I can't remember where I got the information now, but I did actually go and check. Oh no, I remember where I got it from. I got it from my highly reliable reptile book. I'm actually going to grab it and I will share with you exactly what it says, because as I've said before, I often don't fully trust electronic things we find these days. I normally try and get information from peer-reviewed papers or books, because, well, just because really. 350. 350. So these Nile crocodiles, I'm going to tell you exactly what I found out. A female, let me tell you a story about mating crocodiles. Reach sexual maturity between 12 and 15 years old, or longer than 2.3 meters in length.
This unfolds in front of you.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
So we've got a couple of Penelope Kenyon. You say you saw courting crocs in Swaziland and Zotini, and they curled around each other and swam around like that for ages. Interesting. I'm gonna tell you exactly what my book says in front of me. So you heard the sexual maturity 12 to 15 in excess of 2.3 meters. Large males are very territorial and will defend a harem of between 6 and 10 females. Okay, maybe this doesn't quite apply here because there's not huge numbers or big territories really. The female indicates willingness to mate by partially lifting her head out of the water to expose her throat. The male then rubs his chin on the female's back, neck and head, and will twist his tail underneath hers in order to copulate. Actual mating takes only a few minutes, but may occur several times a day over many days. Mating season is between July and September, and egg laying takes place from October to December. That is the information I have, and that is the information I'm sticking to. Maybe Penelope Kenyon, that was part of the courtship routine. But absolutely fascinating to watch. Spas, you're saying, have I ever seen courtship behaviour from crocodiles? Not that I'm aware of, Spas. I've got a lovely female waterbuck just drinking out of my bird bath. Look, that's so funny. I've got a waterbuck on the screen and having a drink. Oh, I'm so blessed. This beautiful male waterbuck here though, supervising carefully as this crocodile is leaving the water. But it's definitely the right time of year to see crocodiles mating. Oh, yes, I think that's a lovely idea. I wanted to have a little bit of time watching these crocodiles, but it looks like whatever they were doing is now done. So let's head across back to Moella. Look at this waterbuck having a look at this crocodile. Those zebras quickly moved out of the way, hey? I do feel like numbers are decreasing here in zebra. So as we know, these elephants do hugely prefer nice fresh water. So is she maybe going to another spot where it looks like there might be another inlet to another area closer? up this way. Let's look. This looks like a big bull. Well, it's definitely a big bull, thanks. We've just had evidence now. Can often be a little bit of a nuisance, especially if these females have got small youngsters. They can sometimes get bumps, cause injury if these males get a bit overzealous. Jostling for trunk access there to this delicious fresh water. The zebra is like excuse me, can we make some space here? No, not at the moment. Ooh, that sounds like an amazing view. Let's definitely go over to Serengeti to have a look at a potential agama. Let's see what agama we've got. Fortunately, I've got my reptile book in front of me. Oh, wow. That was brilliant timing. It's gone. But that was a great catch there. Well done. That is epic. I don't know what sort of agamas this is. My reptile book I've got in front of me is Southern Africa. The agamas I know are pink, blue. Sorry, this is quite clearly pink. That was epic, though. It looked like it was maybe running around hunting something. I've never been to this camera. Okay, I think this is, I do believe it's an agama, going on the shape, and one of the behaviours I know very well from agamas is that sort of that push-up behaviour. We saw this Oki do that push-up behaviour just before he bounced out of the camera, but fortunately he's come back. I think this is a Mwanza flat-headed rock agama. Very distinctive pinks and blues, otherwise known as a Spider-Man agama. Look! As I said that, he almost Spider-Man'd. I don't know if that's an actual behaviour. That is amazing. I've never seen one of these before. Mercedes Benz, this is a newer camera. What a brilliant angle. Spas, you're also saying we haven't been here for a long time, and even this agama is a new one for you. I've never seen one of these either, but from my very brief research, I believe this may be colloquially known as a Spider-Man agama. Oh, please let this be correct. Mwanze, the Mwanze flat-headed rock agama. I've never even heard of one of these. So this is, as is often the case, highly vibrant colours in the male. Deb D, it literally looks like Spider-Man. So I'm based on this stance. This is a Spider-Man agama. Right colours, right stance. So yeah, as is often the case, not always, males of things are brighter than females to basically get the attention of the girls. Females and juveniles are much sort of grey spas, less vibrant colouring. Quick case, see, that's what I saw. That's a very distinctive behaviour I recognise for agamas. Slightly, obviously they're all reptiles, but slightly different to lizards. Skinks, chameleons, well, they're all sort of similar grouping. They are considered different sections of taxonomy. But that push-up behaviour is very distinctive in many agamas. And saw that super long tail on this agama as well. I think this agama might be looking for stuff to eat, I reckon.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild.
Oh, Justice Bogatsu. I've got absolutely no idea how many eggs this agama lays. I hadn't seen one till 3 or 4 minutes ago. I can check for you, Justice, but I've got absolutely no idea. Okay, Justice, typically agamas lay between 5 and 12 eggs per clutch, but that could vary as usual on resources, on laying sites, various different things, but yeah, somewhere between 5 and 12, Justice. Mr. Elemental, you're saying he is very handsome. I agree. He is very handsome. This is what I have learned about this agama that I've never seen before in the last 3 or 4 minutes, but I do know the Spider-Man agama is very handsome. This is such an amazing camera. I've never seen this camera before. Hey, did you see the tip of his tail? Oh, is he going to come back again? What a cool sighting! If you hadn't seen it, you wouldn't believe it that there's such a thing as a Spider-Man agama, would you? But the way he poised and flattened himself against those rocks, I think the people that name all the birds should probably talk to the people that name all the lizards, because that's absolutely spot on, the Spider-Man agama. I think that's a brilliant idea. Let's go back to Aldonia, but that was an excellent catch. All at FC, well done. First for me and a first for many others as well. Awesome. But let's head back to Aldonio. We've got Mr. One Tusk. think this one on the right is possibly suggesting the one on the left is a bit too close. He's saying, back off my water a bit. Mawiti, great question. Is that his natural colours, or does he change colour depending on the environment where he is? As far as I know, agamas... Oh, you've got me thinking now. I think you might be thinking of chameleons. They're the ones that sort of adjust. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the mic. Adjust colours. It's more, they can adjust colours to a certain extent, but it's often more mood based. If you put a chameleon on a, well, not South African chameleons anyway, if you put a chameleon on a red sheet, it doesn't go red. But I'm just trying to think if agamas do have any colour changeability. I don't think they do. But anyone is welcome to hop in and correct me if I'm wrong. But often male, well, most things actually, the colours get brighter in breeding season, especially birds. They grow long, elaborate tails and all sorts of things, so they will get brighter according to season, but environmentally, I don't think so. Mawiti? Computer enthusiast, you are saying 2 tons of fun. There's more than 2 tons of fun here if you're referring to these 2 elephants. Look, that one on the right is just like, I've asked you to back off a bit, please. See how respectfully communication's done. Yeah, I reckon computer enthusiast is maybe close to 6 or 7 tons here, maybe. But it's definitely a lot of fun. And you just said your camera went crazy taking screenshots. They were super cool screenshots of that Spider-Man agama. That was a brilliant capture, and well done for taking those screenshots. I did not get any screenshots. Dark Mane Lover, if I could rename any animals, what animal would I rename as their permanent name? Wow. I'm going to have to think about that. That's too good an opportunity to get wrong, I think. Can you give me till the end of the show, Dark Mane Lover? I'll come up with something. We were renaming groups of a grumpy male buffalo earlier. Oh, I can't think about anything else now. Give me till the end of the show, Dark Mane Lover. That means you have to stay till the end of the show to find out what I decide. Brilliant question, though. I think we should set a challenge for everyone for tomorrow. And I think anyone that's listening or watching, everyone should think about that overnight. Think about all the animals we see on these cameras. Has to be an animal we see on these cameras, even if we see them very, very rarely, or even if we've got a chance of seeing them. But it can't be sort of like polar bears or something. I think everyone should think overnight and decide what animal that we see or may see on these cameras should be renamed and what it should be renamed to. And everyone should report back tomorrow, same time, same place. And we should chat about it tomorrow. Lucy Cody, you're asking, at what age will female elephants stop giving birth? They don't, to be honest. From what I understand, I was actually reading about. Actually, Lucy, was it you that asked me what happened when a matriarch dies? I think it might have been. And I was doing some extensive reading on it because I found it very interesting, and some of the information I found was about a female elephant called Eleanor, the matriarch of a herd that died, and where was it? I can't remember where it was now. Oh, my memory's terrible. And interestingly, a matriarch from another herd was present, and Grace, who is a matriarch from another herd, actually picked Eleanor up to try and sort of right her. It didn't work, unfortunately. I think she was about 50 years old, and in this paper that I was reading about, she had given birth 5 months previously. So I don't think they really do. Again, it would probably depend on health, resources. If an animal is in very poor condition, hasn't been feeding, they probably wouldn't be able to conceive, or if they could conceive, they probably wouldn't be able to carry a fetus to full term. If they were sick or poor condition or weren't able to get enough nutrients. Wildlife Lady, good afternoon, Kelly. I hope you haven't missed much. Wildlife Lady, you missed a Spider-Man agama. If you've just got here, you're very late and you missed a Spider-Man agama. Mr. HUAE, you had lions. What? Where did you have lions last night? I need to know this information. Which camera had lions on last night? I still can't think of what animal I would rename on a permanent basis and what.
I met this remarkable rhino bull, whose name is Samson, last year in a place of extraordinary beauty, history and story. I'm going back there to see him in October, and I think you should come with me to his mysterious mountain fastness.
Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
last, oh, it must be a good hour. No, absolutely nowhere at all. The one with his bottom in the water has now lifted his head up, and the one with his head down has put his head down because his head was up earlier. That is the extent of the activity here. See, I think maybe we should take a leaf out of these guys' books. All this running around we do, and I actually played paddle for the first time in my life this morning. I wasn't very good. You can catch these guys playing paddle. They're just chilling. But look at this. Oh, this is one of my favourite things about the Kruger. Is that a hippo? Huh. Yeah, I think we had a hippo there as well. These beautiful rivers and all the life. Oh, we're getting up. All the life that comes with these rivers. Stretch. All the life that comes with these rivers and all the stuff that goes on down there that we don't know about or we don't see. But yeah, I wanted to come back here to check and see what we might have missed here, and it turns out that not much. That one furthest away is flat on its side. This buffalo have actually picked a really good spot here. Any predators? Not that any predators would bother. In my opinion, they would be foolish if they did. Maybe a pride of 20 hungry lions might try, but yeah, I'd probably give it a skip, to be honest. I'm trying to think what animal I'd rename. Dark Mane Lover, can I come back to you tomorrow? I think we should all have a think about it overnight because I don't want to get it wrong. What if this is the only opportunity I ever get to rename any animal forever and I don't think about it carefully enough and I get it wrong? So I think we should all decide overnight what animal we would like to rename, what it would be. And we shall report in tomorrow. I will be back at the same time, same place, hopefully, internet allowing. Gary Naidu, you're asking how many muscles are there in an elephant's trunk? I've heard anything from 40 to 70,000. Lots. It's a very complex network of muscles in an elephant's trunk, and elephant's trunks are heavy. They are huge chunks of muscles, obviously depending on the size of the elephant, but a big bull elephant's trunk, it's a big, complex working structure in its own right, I think. Emma, you're asking, are African elephants bigger than Kenyan elephants? I think the genetics of elephants around Africa determines size. I think the biggest, I think it's changed actually. I've always known the biggest elephant recorded was from Angola, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's changed now. There's so many scientific discoveries going on everywhere, all over the world. I know some of the Etosha elephants are massive. I know some of the Botswana big bulls are massive. There's some enormous Kruger bulls, some of the big Kruger tuskers. Tsavo, some of the Tsavo elephants are known to be massive. So I think it depends, Irma. I think it all depends on genetics and who you find when. I think it would be very difficult to say that X elephants are bigger than... I know African elephants are bigger than Asian elephants. but across Africa, I think it just varies, Irma. Sebastian saying these buffaloes, they didn't do an umbrella and cocktails here at Kruger Shalati. I wouldn't give a buffalo a cocktail. Ooh. Bull in a china shop. Different level. Imagine one of these, all of these boys after a few cocktails. But yes, they're very comfy here, and they probably could do with an umbrella. Tell you what, Spas, you can go and give it to them. I'm certainly not going in there. Peace to you. Hi. Thank you very much for dropping in to say hello. It's lovely to meet you. Thank you for dropping by. You're not going to be on drive babysitting your grandson today. Have a lovely time babysitting your grandson. Joanne Mello, thank you for joining us. These buffalo are just taking it turns to stand up and like sit down. And maybe I tell you what, is this buffalo also going to have a good stretch? Joanne Mello, thanks for popping in. Hope to see you again soon, but also you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. These buffalo look like they're just taking it in turns to stand up and then lay back down again. Computer enthusiast, bigger is not better. Most Olympic athletes are all under 6 foot. I didn't know that. I did not know that, computer enthusiast. And yeah, it's... Do you go on if you're looking at... See, I'm so non-committal these days. Almost everything I say is it depends. But when you're going on, say you're measuring size of elephants, do you go on height? Do you go on weight? Do you go on tusk size? It's also very subjective. Oh, I've got envy of those cars driving over that bridge. I do love a Kruger River. There's another, it's like a breeding herd coming down to have a look at. Maybe come down for a drink and a little bit of a chomp. We had some elephants down here feeding on this camera the other day. I actually drove over this bridge a few weeks ago now, but it's giving me pangs of missing the big rivers of the Kruger. I might have to sneak in there sometime. How very fortunate am I to be able to do it. Kruger National Park is an incredibly special place. You will often hear most of us hold there's a very special place in our hearts for the Kruger National Park. Ooh, Penelope Kenyon, yes, we can rename some birds. I formally declare that we are allowed to rename some birds. That's what I thought. I originally thought, I think I'd almost rather rename birds because some of those are silly. They're silly in my opinion. Penelope Kenyon, go for it. Have a think overnight, pick 3 birds that you want to rename, and we will gladly go through them tomorrow, and then maybe we can start a campaign. I had a friend years ago who wanted to start a campaign to redefine the collective noun for elephants to become a trumpet. No more herds. They had to be called a trumpet of elephants. Spas, always nice to have some last minute buffalo and elephants. We could get anything walking down here. Lots of herbivores. Whole list of herbivorous Kruger mammals could turn up here. All the way down to your little steam bucks. All sorts could show up on this camera.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word. She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
Some of you out there are brilliant at identifying hyenas.
Now, why do you think people have got this huge misunderstanding about reptiles?
Right in front of me there was the face of an astounded buffalo bull.
This is live and interactive, so everybody, if you have any questions and comments, please do send them through and let us know what you'd like.
They're not able to breed. Look at that. Look at that animal on the left there. That's a prime chunk of beef there. They're in great condition. But actually quite interesting why they do leave the herd. We know they do. I'm going to do some more reading. I'm going to see if I can find a study on if anyone actually knows the rationale behind it. That would be quite interesting to dig into a little bit more. Darkman Lover, it's a pleasure. You're saying thank you to Wild Earth Afcam, Zoomies for an amazing show. Really cool sightings today, I agree. And it's lovely to indeed share so much knowledge and great camera sightings. I think it's brilliant. I really, really enjoy it. It's a great opportunity for us to share thoughts, share learnings. Wildlife Lady, I don't know. I've never been to this camera. I'm not actually sure how long this camera's been here, so it could be that if the camera did move, it could have been the slight wear of the camera, or it could have been something else. Debdi, you're saying they do remind you of men in Parliament, the US forefathers with the powdery wigs. There's definitely something sort of almost a bit authoritarian. Is that a word? Authoritarian? Authoritative? If this guy suggested that something needed to be passed in a parliament, I'd probably agree. But yeah, I'm going to write my homework down. I want to find out. I want to know a bit more about why these bulls would leave the herd. Why do the boys leave? My predictive text has changed that too. Why do baggage boys leave herds? That's going to confuse me. Ansi, you're saying you think they should rename the Hardidar the Vuvuzela bird. I can absolutely see why that would work. Ludwig Senolo. Lots of these buffalo have relaxed. This Okie at the front is having none of it still. Look at that nose still twitching. That fight or flight response. He's got big horns, this guy at the front, hey? Mr. Wright and Gianni, the buffalo muddy moppers are back and closing the show. Indeed. Look how this... Look at the difference in size of the boss of this one at the back. So that big chunky thing at the... Look how big the boss is of that one at the back, the more chilled one. And look how much smaller it is. Or is it smaller, or has he just got his nose up higher? Put your nose down, one at the front. His boss actually looked a bit smaller to me, but his horns were longer. So maybe that boss develops more when horns are growing out and long and up less. I wonder if these guys will come back. Wildlife Lady, you joined late but enjoyed it. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to join, Wildlife Lady. Please do call again, as anyone else that has been with us for either all of or just some of the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Spider-Man Agama, never heard anything like it, but how cool to see a completely new and such an interesting species of something that actually looks like what it's called. But I think that is the challenge overnight, everyone. We have permission that we can go away and rename either an animal or a bird, anything we want, and then we must come back same time, same place tomorrow. This Okie's not happy, hey? Still sniff, sniff, sniff. We must come back tomorrow, and we can all discuss what bird or animal we think should be renamed to something else, and ideally why. What a great thing to spend the evening pondering. Deb D, thank you for joining us. It's the pleasure was all mine, as per usual. Philip Fraser, that's a good idea. Hello from Oklahoma, USA. The Ellie with one tusk could indeed be named after a famous dragon, Toothless. There are animals, Philip Fraser, from Oklahoma. We can rename them whatever and however we want. So please join us again tomorrow. We will see if the Serengeti Explorer buffalo have calmed down a little bit and dropped his news. Looking forward to it immensely. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Same time, same place tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We're going to discover some real wildlife gems. This is a virtual safari full of beauty, wildlife, and stories. We're going to discover some unique and diverse reserves, spend time with some famous animal characters, and learn some real conservation stories. If you like any of the locations you see on Safari Spotlight, our experts at Wild Earth Travel are standing by to make your dreams come true.